Humanity has long been fascinated by stories of mad scientists. From Dr. Doofenshmirtz to Frankenstein's monster, there's just something gripping about geniuses who are unafraid to test the boundaries of our existence. Actually, the scientist is just called Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster was his creation. Speaking of Frankenstein, one of Mary Shelley's chief inspirations may have been Giovanni Aldini, an Italian doctor from around 1800. You see, it was around this time that humanity first really started to uncover the mystery of electricity. Well, unless you believe the ancient Egyptians were walking around with iPhones and jetpacks, but that's a discussion for another time. In contrast to everyday uses of electricity, such as powering lights and household appliances, Aldini had some more ambitious ideas. Now, imagine you were some English commoner from 1803. The craziest thing you'd ever seen was your cousin Eddie getting kicked in the nuts by a prostitute, and you had no knowledge of human anatomy whatsoever. You rock up to a city square one day and some mysterious foreigner is seemingly bringing a corpse back to life, its eyes opening and its hands clenching. You drop on your knees and utter a desperate prayer to the Lord not to punish you for that time you laughed at the town drunk who died getting kicked in the head by a mule. Well, not to worry, you sad little degenerates. Old Bobby isn't coming back anytime soon. All Aldini really did was excite some old muscles in a dead criminal's body. But that wasn't the beginning of humanity messing with the concept of mortality, nor was it the end. Allow me to introduce Soviet scientist Dr. Sergei Brukhanenko. He'd been carrying out experiments where he kept animal hearts and lungs operating outside of their bodies. Not wanting to stop there, Brukhanenko decided that he needed to take the next logical step. Dog heads. And no, that's not the name of a popular Chinese dish, probably. I mean that Brukhanenko literally severed the head of a poor unsuspecting dog and kept it alive by pumping oxygen-rich blood through its arteries. Crazy thing is, it worked! For a while at least. The dog head would react to stimuli and even lick things off its nose. It didn't survive for any longer than a few minutes, or hours at most. If you haven't had enough of decapitated dogs, boy have I a treat for you. Fellow Soviet doctor Vladimir Demikov went a step further a few years later. So in short, we'll cut an incision in the big dog's neck, then we'll lop off the smaller dog's head and sew it onto the big dog. We'll connect their blood circulation together, though we can't really connect the little head to the digestive system, so any food he eats will kinda just pour out. But both heads should be fully functional, and with a little luck, ta-da! A two-headed dog. The wife finally moved out, huh? Yeah, with the kids. It'll be alright, Vlad. If you ever want to just talk, don't be shy. You know I'm here for you. Alright, ready to start? Yeah. Wait, aren't those your wife's pets? Demikov carried this experiment out dozens of times, the longest living two-headed dog living for about a month. Both the dog heads were able to hear, see, smell, and swallow food. Horrific stuff, isn't it? To their credit, both Brukhanenko and Demikov made important contributions to medicine, but experiments like these really aren't carried out anymore for obvious reasons. But remember, this was happening during the age of the Cold War, when the USA and USSR were engaged in an endless stick measuring contest. From nuclear weapons to spacecrafts, truly no field of study was off limits, not even animal decapitation. They did what? And it worked? It breathed? It swallowed? Not even my wife swallows! This is unacceptable! Get me all the best doctors on the phone. I want zombie monkeys, and I want them now. American doctor Robert J. White went further than even the Soviets. He carried out his experiment in 1970, which was basically a monkey head transplant. The head of one monkey would be attached to the body of another, and the resulting creature was able to eat, see, hear, and respond to stimuli. Of course, the poor thing was paralyzed from the neck down and died after only 9 days. But White believed in his work wholeheartedly, and was even gearing up to do the first human head transplant, though that never came to be. White wanted to perform this surgery on Stephen Hawking. We can only wonder how that conversation might have gone. And we'll basically sew your head onto a new body. You can even choose it yourself. My buddy has a contact who works at a Chinese organ harvest, flower shop, and he can hook you up with everything from Tibetan Sherpas to Navy SEALs.
And I'll be able to walk again?
Nah, you'll still pretty much be paralyzed. But get this, you can be paralyzed in a different body.
Fuck you.
Wow, this video ended up involving a lot more gruesome animal decapitation than I thought it would. But hey, Look on the bright side. There can only be a few more years until we all live happily as heads in jars. No wars, no famine, just VR porn and morphine. What enlightened creatures we human beings are. See you next time.